to fight back when something isn't fair. He says Granite Management accused him of causing damages that he didn't cause.
He took it to a jury and won. It's a risk he hopes others will be brave enough to take.
I wanted to take this case because he wanted to stand up for all the Purdue students, all the tenants that end up getting screwed over by these people.
Attorney Duran Keller says what happened to Umar isn't rare, but the fact he took it to trial is unheard of.
Landlords or the property management company often writes up these contracts, and they're so very one-sided.
Umar's contract with Granite Management called for attorney's fees if the company prevailed in a lawsuit. Therefore, the more Umar fought, the more he would risk paying if he lost. In November of 2017, Granite was asking for more than $30,000 if they won. But the trial didn't happen until 9 months later, so who knows how much money they would have requested by then.
You have to ask yourself, would this company have continued with this case and gone all the way to a jury trial worth $2,000 or $3,000 in damages if they weren't going to get anything more than that? I think it's pretty obvious.
The jury ended up siding with Umar and ordered Granite to pay him more than $5,000. But Keller says most students don't even bother showing up to court.
My fear for these students is that they don't show up. They're going to graduate from Purdue, they're going to move on, they're going to get a job, and at some point they're going to try to get a house, and they're going to see that they have a judgment on their credit for $3,000, $4,000 after interest, and they're going to have to pay that off because they never showed up to court. They never defended themselves.
Keller thinks it's time lawmakers get involved.
I would love that the state of Indiana, the legislature, would write something that said anytime there's a landlord-tenant situation or any sort of a debt collector, that you get attorney's fees whoever the prevailing party is, because it's not fair that it's just be so one-sided, and this lease was completely one-sided.
But until then,
people need to read what it is that they're signing. Cross out that portion that says you agree to pay reasonable attorney's fees, because that gives them an incentive to bring a lawsuit against you.
Keller says Granite is different and that the owner of Gutwein Law Firm is also an owner of Granite Management.
They actually have a benefit for suing people, because if they get attorneys for it, then you get paid even more.
Keller and Umar hope more students fight back.
Now, that doesn't mean don't pay your rent. that doesn't mean don't pay for damages that you actually cause. But it means don't let people get away with charging you for something that you didn't cause.
And if you're not getting what you were promised in the lease, Keller says don't be afraid to take it up in court. A landlord is required by law to keep your property in good and working order.
Which means a bunch of different things. You need to have the plumbing system in good and working order. There needs to be a reasonable supply of hot and cold water, and just other things. You know, if the place has mold in it and it's not habitable, that's something that they need to repair within a reasonable amount of time.
Well, if you'd like to learn more, Keller is speaking at a Know Your Rights Landlord and Tenant Law Symposium on October 23rd at Purdue. That information can be found on our website, WLFI.com, as well as yesterday's story detailing what happened in Umar's case.
Well, October is National Adopted Dog Month.